the next question up, and I'm going to let you start first on this. Where do you see our folk in the future? Will we see a fall of the West? Has it already happened? Or do you think the reality of the situation is exaggerated? It's a lot of questions, but I think it's basically one question.
So we're in sort of a depression as it relates to our folk. So things, we're on the precipice, I think, of seeing things getting better. Now, whether that precipice is going to be a decade or several decades or 100 years, I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows. I do think that we've been, our people have been living life in a way where we have been robbing from the future to sort of fuel our hedonistic pleasures of the now. Unfortunately, the generations before us have done so, and I mean we're also complicit in it as we grow up. But so I think that our society is living on borrowed time. The society as it stands right now, I don't think that we're going to see a complete dissolution of our people, but things are going to change, and things need to change, because I think that the people who are watching this, to one degree or another, agrees that the way society is run now is not healthy and is not right or just. So we do want it to be switched out with something that is good and that is healthy for us. But in order for that to happen, these paradigms that we've been living with for a very long time, they need to be dismantled, and they're falling on their own, as they're not rooted in reality, and they're not rooted in what is right and just. They're rooted in entropy and destruction and really the dishonoring of that which is actually good. So I think it is. I don't think it has happened. I think it is happening all around us. And on the one hand, I think the situation is exaggerated, but on the other hand, it's not exaggerated. I think it is, when people take it as, oh, we can't do anything, everything is hopeless, then I think, no, that is incredibly exaggerated, and it's not rooted in reality. It is rooted in propaganda that these bad actors are pumping out, and you need to stop watching that propaganda. That is a huge issue with people, and I think it's part of the soul sickness. We're just drawn to looking at all the bad news of the world. It's like, oh, look what happened in Sweden here and what happened in America here. That you need to stop watching that. Like, you will be hearing about it anyways, but please make an effort in not consuming so much doom porn, really, because then it will make you think that things are worse than they actually are. So stop doing that.
All right, you heard it here, folks. I'm going to steal it and I'm going to use it. Doom porn. I think that really does capture it accurately. Very seldom do we just see cataclysmic social change. We like to talk a lot, and it's kind of the big picture example is the fall of the Roman Empire. No one generation saw the empire fall. It fell for, depends who you talk to, but 300 or 400 years, depending where you were at. It's a slow process of change, and it's hard, asking people to predict the future is a difficult task. One thing my dad noticed about America is, he lamented that this is the first, my generation, and I assume my daughters would then be the second, it's the first generation that their kids weren't going to be better off than them. Like things weren't looking up. And I think that's interesting because he's, tends to be a more middle of the road conservative. He's not, really our guy on stuff. For him to see that is, he's always been super patriotic. He was a soldier. He was in the army. He built a career in the army. Always been really devoted to America, and to see that change in his life was interesting. Yeah, it's not going the right direction. Is it a fall? I don't know. Is it a deep valley that maybe we'll pull out of on the other side? Or is something going to break down and we're going to just build something different? I don't know. What I do know is the AFA is doing our very best to build a outpost of the golden age within the Kali Yuga. We're building the best we can amongst ourselves at our Hofs, at Sigerheim. We're continuing to grow and build a community and share with each other to where we're positioned to celebrate if everything goes great, or to take strength from one another and take care of each other if things go poorly. It's hard to tell if the reality of the situation is exaggerated. I think that's always something historians can do in hindsight, but you very seldom know at the time. We base tragedy on our own life experience. What's a big deal to you may not be a big deal to me. What's a big deal to me may not be a big deal to someone else who's lived a more stressful life, or a life where their immediate needs aren't met. There's a lot to be said to it. But what I have seen is the people that embrace the doom porn and do the whole prepper thing. Not that it's not wise to be prepared for certain things, but when you make your existence about preparing for the apocalypse and then it doesn't happen, it's a lot of wasted years, and it's a lot of wasted energy, a lot of wasted relationship and time with your family, and time you could have been doing stuff with your head focused up. It's funny how it's weird how these things come together on these shows and themes coalesce. But speaking of Balder and Baldershof, one of the things that I think is most special about the Vey and the mural is it's in kind of a triangular space, and Lord Balder's head is at the pinnacle of this triangle, and he's looking up, and it's everything there directs your attention upwards, looking to the future, looking to something better, looking to build, and not looking down at all the things that are wrong, looking up towards things that we can become. And I think that getting your head up and looking for the positive is a much more healthy thing to do. And we've seen generations of people now. We've seen a couple of generations doing the whole prepper thing, where these old guys, spend their whole life prepping for something, and then they pass and nothing's happened. And they've squandered a lot of things and a lot of time in order to do that. So I think focusing on what we can build and building it within the AFA is a very unique opportunity that we have in this day and age. It's pretty special.